Hey bitches, welcome back to my channel. I'm sitting here once again with you.
I know they're tired of seeing my face, girl.
You think?
I think
no,
so.
They're not. Let us know down in the comment section if you're tired of seeing Dustin over here. They're all gonna say no.
Well,
there's gonna be a few people that are like, yes, get him off the channel now.
Get rid of him.
But it is 3:22 in the morning, and of course we are here to talk to you about some things that we have seen on social media over the past 24 hours. And the first thing that I want to talk about is Jen Shah. Now, you know Jen Shah from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I felt like season 3 of Salt Lake City really fell off. I watched like maybe 2 episodes of it, and then the rest of the time I just recorded it and then didn't pay attention.
Yeah. I feel like Jen does a really good job of bringing the drama. Like, a lot of people get into it with her, but she has this, like, energy about her. Like, she has a negative energy.
But she does make really good television.
She does make good, interesting television, but I do
does.
think that she's everything that everyone's saying about her.
No, of course she is, and she deserves to be in prison for what she did. If you don't know, Jen Shah was arrested and charged and found guilty of wire fraud. She had a telemarketing scheme that was targeting older people. They were literally stealing millions upon millions of dollars from elderly people. It's disgusting. Well, she started serving her sentence in Bryan, Texas, the federal community that is there, the federal prison. And she brought 2 things along with her into prison. First of all, she got some new tattoos before she went in there. Like, she got a full arm tattoo of someone's name, and then over here it had her husband and her son's name. So I don't know if she's just trying to get a different look for prison or what. She doesn't want people messing with her while she's in there. But let's be honest, federal prison, that's a little different.
Well, no,
than,
a lot of people, obviously I don't know anything about the prison system, but they say if you go to prison that federal's the way to go.
Where you want to go, Martha Stewart. And you know, of course, Todd Chrisley and his wife are also doing their time. But there was an update of what she took into prison with her.
Salt Lake City housewife Jen Shah has reported to prison today to begin serving her 6.5-year sentence for fraud. Let's kiki about it. Shah is in custody at the federal prison camp in Bryan, Texas. She did one last interview before she turned herself in, saying the only 2 things she was taking with her are her Quran and an 18-page release plan. According to ET, Shah will be documenting everything while she's in prison, and users will be able to access it through a subscription-based website. She says this release plan is not only my roadmap, but it's what it's going to hold me accountable for everything that I told the judge at sentencing. Camp Bryan is the same prison that Elizabeth Holmes requested when she was sentenced to over 11 years for the Theranos fraud, but Elizabeth doesn't begin serving her sentence till April 27th.
And she only took 2 things, and that was her Quran, as well as this thing called the roadmap, and I guess she's gonna document her whole entire journey in prison, everyone. And you know what she's doing? She's gonna charge people a subscription fee to go to a website and keep up to date on what she's doing.
People are gonna pay it. I really don't even understand why they're allowing her to do that, because she is literally being put in prison for frauding elderly people. She shouldn't have none of that.
The only reason that I could think of is that she owes a lot of money. She owes millions of dollars back to these people, and they raided her house and took all the things that they thought they were going to be able to sell to give money back to the victims. A lot of her shit was fake in her house as well. A lot of her Gucci bag, fake as hell.
Can I give my honest opinion on something? I really do feel like Meredith set her sights on Jen Shah and she took her down. I really do. That's my opinion. And you know what? I like Meredith for that.
I don't know.
Meredith was sneaky, her sitting in that bathtub having her wine while they were driving up there.
Shady as hell.
Listen, we used to get down with the Real Housewives.
Yeah, but then in season 3, Meredith became friends with Jen Shah again. So it's
weird.
It's a crazy relationship that is going on between those 2. But the reason that I could come up with as to why they're allowing her to do this, because I did see a lot of people comment that you're not allowed to bring anything in with you. I don't know how true that is.
Why is she an exception to the rule?
She owes a lot of money to those people. She's going to be in there for a very long time. I think it's 6.5 years that she got. So she needs to start paying these people back. I don't know how much the subscription fee is going to be. Not exactly sure about that.
I'm going to guess $14.99.
You think?
I think $14.99.
You know what? I might pay for it for a month. If you guys want me to subscribe to that and let you guys know the tea on that, let me know. But before she went into prison, she was supposed to sit down with Andy Cohen and do this one-on-one interview, which got a huge squash. It got a lot of backlash because people are why are you platforming her? Why are you allowing her to tell her side of the story? She literally claimed on season 3 she was innocent the whole entire time.
She sure did.
It shocked everyone when she went in and she actually pleaded guilty and took that.
You know what was really shocking to me about all of that? Whitney called it. When they were in that, was it a bus, a van, whatever?
The Sprinter.
When they were going to arrest Jen and they found out kind of what it was about.
She got the hell out of there.
She knew.
She got the hell out of there.
But you know what though? She's super smart, but Whitney gets on my nerves because she does a lot of this. A whole lot of this.
I like Whitney. I used her skincare and I actually really did enjoy it. That's what I was using when we were at my mom's house. But so she was supposed to do this one-on-one with Andy. It obviously didn't happen. And then she released this thing on her Instagram story. I guess it was going to be another type of subscription thing where you had to enter your information, which is a huge red flag considering she's going to prison for wire fraud and like conspiracy, like all that kind of stuff.
Why would anybody trust her after that?
Right, that's what a lot of people were saying, but some people signed up for it, and I don't know if they ever delivered on that. I know she did do some kind of like interview before going into prison, she reported today.
That's crazy.
But girl, the audacity of her to try to get people's personal information before going to prison for what she's going to prison for.
Is there not like some kind of sanction that would like prevent her from doing that?
I
Like,
guess
that,
not.
Like clearly, I don't think she's gonna try anything, but it's just the fact that she is now going to prison for doing something shady with people's personal information. I don't like that.
And I really think that once she gets out of prison, Bravo's just going to give her the same treatment that they gave like Teresa Giudice. She went to prison for like tax fraud, something like with her husband, but she got out of prison. They gave her like a Teresa goes at it type of like deal, which she got out of there because so many people were interested in it. And now she's back on the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
That to me is honestly just rewarding like terrible behavior. These people, they have all this money, or they portray that they have all this money when they don't. They steal it from other people. They go to prison and then they get out and they're rewarded for it with what? More money, more fame?
Here's the thing about Jen Shah though, like where was her money? Like why did she not have anything to show for? They exposed her for like what her house looked like before she got on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and allegedly the house that's on the Salt Lake City was like a lease they signed right as filming was
That was a beautiful
begin.
house that was on the show, but the one that she lived in before, girl. Woo!
It was definitely a step up when she got onto the show.
It sure
but
was.
what was she doing with all this money? Because they said there were so many fakes inside of her house. Like, where is it? You were taking money from people and scamming them. What do you have to show for it?
I don't know.
A prison sentence is what she has to show for it.
Probably tucked away somewhere so she can get it when she gets out.
Another thing that people are talking about over on TikTok is the fact that we have not heard anything about UFOs for like how many days now? I feel like for a while there, every single day something was getting taken out of the sky and it was falling. But now all of a sudden, nothing is happening like that. We're obviously having other disasters in this country. I think there's now 3 places in Florida that are on fire.
I thought that ET was getting ready to phone home, girl. I thought that the alien invasion was coming. I was getting ready to get my 3D glasses from the 90s that you pop out of the cereal box. I was ready to watch The Light Show.
Well, apparently now they have decided to call off the search for all of these things that they have shot out of the sky.
So I'm jumping on TikTok after about 17 years and 2 posts to talk about what's going on with the UFOs. Not a great use of my time, granted, but so 2 UFOs were shot down over Alaska and Lake Huron, and they can't find them. A country shot down UFOs and they can't find them. They don't have the coordinates for where presumably the army planes shot down the UFOs. I'm sure people are like, oh, there's a very valid reason for this. But let me, stoke the flames of controversy and skepticism. Especially considering that because they won't be found, they will not be analyzed. Feels weird to me. I don't know. Anyway, it's Friday and I'm bored.
They're not even going to look for them anymore. Now, the original excuse was that they are out there, they're on ice, like it's very difficult to get to them. A lot of people understood that, but there's gotta be a way that they can get to this. So you guys are just gonna go around and shoot things out of the sky and then not inquire about what the fuck it was. It was obviously important enough that you spent all that money to shoot a missile at it.
Was it that important, or were they trying to deflect from what's actually going on in the world? That's what I keep getting hung up on. Like all this, like the train derailment, chemical spills, all these fires. Like it really does feel like they're trying to keep our eyes in one direction so we don't look and see what else is going on. That's how I feel at this point.
Look, all I'm saying is, and people can get upset about this if they want to, let me know in the comment section, but that balloon from China flew over this country and got from the top of it, and apparently they were tracking it from when it took off over in China, so they knew this thing was coming. So it went all the way across the country, exited over there by Myrtle Beach, and got taken out. There have been a few disasters along the line that thing traveled. So what is to say that whatever was on that, the surveillance system, the satellite, whatever the was like floating underneath it, we all saw the photo. What's to say it wasn't snapping videos and pictures of those train tracks? Because there are really bad train tracks in Ohio where that happened. Like they are like, it swerves and stuff. So I'm just saying. Well, and there was one in South Carolina actually.
Yeah, well no, I do know that they were saying that it did have telecommunications on it where they were trying to like listen to things.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're not telling us everything. They never tell us anything.
Nope.
If the world was ending, we probably wouldn't know up until like 10 minutes before it was gonna happen. And that's honestly sad.
Well, a lot of people are saying that they think that we are already at war, and they're just not saying anything about it because nobody has declared it. I know that horrible things happen all the time, places catch on fire all the time. There have been a lot of train derailments and all that. My thing is, how often does that happen? Because I think they said like 1,000 of them happen a year. How often do the trains have hazardous chemicals. And how often does that happen so close to each other with all of that?
Well, I saw a clip on TikTok. People are trying to raise awareness because they want to know why food was also on the same train that was packed with this like vinyl chemical chloride, whatever it is. Yeah. Why are they transporting food along with that stuff? That is weird to me.
It's very odd to me too that the CDC allegedly updated the thing about vinyl chloride.
Oh girl, it's not
11
alleged.
days.
They did.
Someone said they updated it 11 days before because they knew 25 days before what was going to happen. So I don't know. Put on your tinfoil hats, get your conspiracy theories, because honestly, a lot of the conspiracy theories that people were like shaming people for over the past few years
they've turned out to be
come
true.
So I'm not going to shame any conspiracy theory now, other than maybe a few about like the Free Britney thing, because that gets a little weird. The next person that I want to talk about is Don Lemon. Now you know Don Lemon.
I know him from like the news. That's it. That's the only thing I know about him. I don't know any of his tea. I don't know anything about his personal life. So please tell me.
Well, all I want to talk about with him, because I do not watch CNN. I choose not to watch like news like that because I feel like it's a lot of fear mongering on a lot of the channels out there, and that's not for CNN. That's not for Fox. It's just everybody as a whole. So Don Lemon was on the air and he was talking about Nikki Haley, and she is apparently going to be running for president in 2024.
Now, who is Nikki Haley?
She is a Republican, and that's really all I know about her. But she said something along the lines of she feels like she's in her prime and it's her time. She's like 51 years old. Well, Don Lemon opened his mouth. Not at all. Definitely not at all. Don Lemon opened his mouth and said that she shouldn't be talking about being in the prime because she is definitely not. And then he went in to say, his words were like, women, if you Google it and you look it up, it will tell you that they are in their prime, in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And the two ladies that were on like the panel with him were like so taken aback and shocked by what was coming out of his mouth. Like you could just tell that they wanted to come out of script to say something to him. Like it was getting to that point, and he just continued and continued and continued. It was bad.
I'm having a really hard time understanding why. So you said she's what, 51 years old?
Yeah, I believe
that we need term limit and age limits in our Congress and Senate and all of that. I think 51's a good number. You've lived a good number of years. You understand how things are going on in the country, in the world and stuff. I don't understand why he would say that when we've had very old presidents. And I'm not age shaming anyone. I just think there should be an age limit because cognitive decline does happen. I think 51's a good age. Now, if she was like 75, I'd be like, girl, no. Who's he to say that? Like, what agenda is he pushing?
Well, Don Lemon, after this whole thing happened, he's been getting a lot of heat on social media. I'm sure he's been getting a lot of heat from CNN and the viewers that have been calling in and all of that. Rightfully so, Don Lemon. He did what he does best. I remember hearing so much about Don Lemon in 2020 when everything was going on with the pandemic, because he talked so much shit about Florida and how things were being run there during the pandemic, and whatever your thoughts are on that. He talked a lot of shit on air. And where did he flee to when he wanted a vacation? When he first could?
I'm gonna say Florida.
Florida. South Beach.
I do love the Sunshine State, though.
Guess where he is?
Florida.
And do you know what he did? He called into CNN on a conference call to like apologize and let people know that he's sorry and this is what he meant and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you couldn't at least give like a video message?
I want to know why he thought that way. Like, why would he even say that? Like, why are you going to argue that? Like, 50?
The only time that I've ever really even heard the conversation of a woman being in her prime was in the modeling industry, because they start girls at like age 12, sometimes like 11, and then they go up until they're like 28 years old. And then unfortunately they do phase out. That's how the modeling industry was. Now, of course, today we're seeing a lot more inclusion and we're getting like people of all ages and of all sizes and all of that, which is great. And I love that for everyone, because it's like, it's actually showing like realistic. The next thing that I want to talk about is Jeffree Star and all of this heat that he is receiving from this podcast that he did with Taylor Lewan. I really think that we're saying his name wrong, because I saw a few TikToks about this and they were saying it a completely different way.
Oh, well, he's Taylor Lewan. He's Taylor Lewan here.
So Jeffree did this podcast with Taylor Lewan, and the topic of being non-binary, they, them pronouns came up, and Jeffree had a lot to say about it.
Good morning, everyone, from your favorite gender-bending androgynous. Hello, how are ya? Oh my god, you guys, people are nuts. Social media is hilarious. I just read my DMs. There is thousands and thousands and thousands of them, like more so than ever, of you guys just letting me know how you feel. And thank you, because you can log on to Twitter sometimes. These people are so nuts. I actually feel bad for them. I used to not, and the older I get, I do have a little bit more sympathy for people that are so bored and miserable. Couldn't not relate. Farthest from the truth for me. But yes, I said that I don't agree with something, and it has been turned into a whole thing, but I'm used to it. I've been online for 20 years. I think it's funny. I know who I am, and so do you guys. So always be you, 100% authentic. Always stick up for what you believe in, and don't let anyone try to change your mind. Seeing a lot of funny ass shit on Twitter like, Jeffree, you told Shane Dawson that you didn't care about pronouns. You've called yourself an alien forever. Am I really an alien? It's giving human being right here. It's giving science. But I'm not arguing with anyone. All I said was I don't like labels. That was really the essence of what I was saying. I wasn't saying anything else. I love everyone. Don't give a anyone. All in the same swirl. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. New TikToks are coming. I'm on fire, bitch. There's a lot of reviews and there's a lot of trips planned. So Miss Lynn is out the house, and I think it has people a little shook.
That is pissing a lot of people off. A lot of them are confused as why Jeffree would say that they, them, what is that? Just because Jeffree Star, his whole entire career, he has literally been androgynous and he like wears dresses and things like that. So people are like, how are you not understanding that somebody does not want to identify as just a male or as just a female? So I totally understand that argument, but what they're taking from Jeffree is that he said they, them, what the is that? And then he went in to say because everybody was sitting home basically in 2020 and just making up with stuff, and they kept going and they kept going and they kept going. Now, when I watched that, because they, them has been around for a very, 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 very long time. That's nothing new. It's just new that people are starting to use it and talk about it in regards to non-binary. However, when I was listening to what he was saying, when he said that they just kept making up stuff and it just kept going like a snowball, I thought that he was talking about neo-pronoun. And I have to be completely honest, and I want to take this as like a learning experience as well, because I'm sure that everyone in the comment section, I do have to say, please be respectful. I know this can be a very heated debate, a very difficult conversation for a lot of people to have, so please just keep it respectful down below.
It's a confusing conversation.
It's very, no, honestly, honest to God, it's confusing because before we sat down to record this, I was looking up some video clips that I wanted to use about neo-pronouns. I'm completely lost on the whole entire conversation because I don't understand why like she or he couldn't be used in place as some of these words as well. So take this for example. There is a person over on TikTok. I see their TikToks all of the time. And what they basically do is they educate people on how to use certain neo-pronouns in like a sentence. So like z, zer. Do you know what that would mean?
It means you cross out the S and make the X her, and then for he it would be zer because you'd be crossing out the H with the Z.
Yeah.
It's very confusing to me.
Today I'm going to show you how to use z, zer pronouns in sentences, so let's go! I haven't done these pronouns in a while, but I'm really excited to do them again because a lot of people ask for them over and over again, and you know what? TikTok is still very confusing in the way of like looking up things, and I think it's just more helpful if I just remake these videos so y'all can find them and search them more easily, so that is what I'm gonna do. A good little tip to help you remember z-zer pronouns is to replace the S of she, her with X for z-zer, so I really hope that's helpful. Z is such a wonderful person. Zer's smile is so contagious. In fact, I saw Zer make a whole audience smile. I think Z should be very proud of Zer's self, and I hope to see you on my next episode.
What I'm confused on is why not then say she, her? Because you're literally still meaning she, her. So that is what I completely don't understand.
I'm no linguist, but honestly, I'm pretty sure there's some out there that are probably like blowing their top on this.
So the way that this has been described to me by people on social media, because when this whole thing came out about Jeffree and the non-binary and all of that, I said something along the lines of, you can identify as whatever the you want to identify as, but you cannot expect people to bow down and cater to you just because of the way that you feel. Because I see a lot of people getting upset all the time about pronouns and people not using the correct ones with them, but there's also a huge argument and a huge fight online right now about people not wanting cis in front of woman or cis in front of man. So a lot of people are taking it as, and I honestly do see the argument that way of you're upset that someone's not using your proper pronouns because they're accidentally getting it wrong somewhere, but the moment that someone has an issue with cis, that's where you draw the line and that's where that person is an asshole.
There's a very big debate about this over on TikTok. And I understand why, and I think your reasoning for what you just said is completely valid, because I don't think that we have to label everything. But that's just my personal philosophy. If you want to identify as what you want to identify as, I said it a long time ago in one of my videos, you can identify as a refrigerator door. I don't care. I'll call you Little Fridgy. It doesn't matter to me. I'll call you whatever you want me to call you. But what gets me is when people like think that you're trying to be mean by not using the correct pronoun. If I see you in passing and I say like, excuse me, sir, and you get upset by that, like that's not my fault. And people really will attack you for that when you really cannot tell what someone's pronoun is by looking at them.
So what you just said reminded me of another clip that went viral over on TikTok. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Kaylee show. She's a trans woman who documents her life. She uploaded a video the other day that went viral because she was telling a story about how she was discriminated against in her apartment complex.
Confront me for using the women's restroom. I lived here for 4.5 years. Everyone should know that I'm a trans woman. I've always been known as Kaylee. I've always used she, her pronoun. I've been having some stomach issues because of Trulicity, and I had to use the bathroom real quick, and they're single-use bathrooms, and it's the only place that I feel safe using the women's bathroom. Well, I got done and got out, and this neighbor was talking to another neighbor and started pointing out the sign. I knew exactly what she was talking about because there's a big old woman sign. And I'm like, is there a problem? She's like, yeah, you're using the woman's restroom. You're a man. And I said, I'm a trans woman. And she's like, no, you're a man. And she kept saying that over and over. And she kept saying, you're not a she, you're a he. You shouldn't be using it. You were born a man. And just over and over. And honestly, I just lost it. It just lost it and just started screaming and swearing. I just couldn't handle it. This is my home. This is my safe place. I should be able to use the restroom. The apartment manager knows I'm trans. Everyone knows my name is Kaylee. And then my group of friends, I thought my friends were all starting to yell at me saying I escalated and because she had 2 kids. I didn't even see the kids. They were there and I just lost it. Fight, flight, or freeze. And I fought. You don't know what it's like to be a trans person. And then when one friend started yelling at me, and none of them stood up for them. They blamed me.
She described that she has been living there for 4 years, so people should obviously know what her proper pronouns are, no matter what she is looking like that day. Well, the issue is that Kaylee went into the women's restroom, like Kaylee normally would, and a neighbor confronted her and said basically, like, what are you doing in here? I'm complaining to the apartment complex. It turned into a huge ordeal. But the reason that the neighbor was caught off guard and they were startled in the bathroom is because Kaylee has a full beard. And always has a full beard, because I looked back through Kaylee's videos. She does always present with a full beard. So I'm not gonna fault a neighbor in this situation that walked into the women's restroom and was startled because they saw what they assumed to be a man with a full beard standing in front of them.
And that's where the water gets muddy. I don't think people inherently want to offend other people. You know what I mean? Most people, 9 times out of 10, if they know your pronouns, they're gonna respect it. There can always be that situation where there's a misunderstanding or something and they may not know someone's pronouns. But you cannot tell someone's pronouns just by simply looking at them. It's just not that simple. So I don't understand why people are getting mad at other people for that. And I'm not saying that to be malicious. I'm not saying that with malice. I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just one of those things where like people really do get upset when you don't know, but you have no indicator to know. You know what I'm saying?
But getting back to how it's been described to me over on social media about neo-pronouns, they're there in place of like a they, them, because apparently that can be way too confusing for people in the third person. And my thing is,
that's very confusing.
It's very easy to respect someone if they're like, I want to go by they, them. We talk about Sam Smith on this channel, and sometimes we will slip up and we will say he, but the next sentence you're gonna get a they or a them. But that's not confusing to me. What's confusing is when you get into a they, a zim, a zer, a z. You have a it. People also want to use it as a pronoun. I remember when we were growing up, and actually not even that long ago,
that's
and
like
I still find it very offensive actually if somebody refers to you as an it, because in my opinion that means that you're just like nothing. You're just like a thing that's there.
An inanimate object.
Yeah, which is really weird, and that's another reason why a lot of people have issues with these neo-pronouns, because yes, you have the ones that people really believe in, like the they and the zer, but you also have people just using like cat and helicopter and things like that.
Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use frog's pronouns in sentences, so let's go.
Let's not. Let's not. Because we don't have to. We don't need to. There are plenty of pronouns, neo-pronouns that we can use. They, them, it, its, ze, there, ze, zim. We have to stop indulging this idea of like animalistic or inanimate objects being pronouns. They're not. They're just not. And I feel like when we do give people that, it's discrediting people outside of the gender binary. Listen, be what you want to be, girl. Be and identify whatever you want to be. But don't expect people to use animal pronouns or animal names as pronouns for you. That doesn't make sense. And I'm sorry. Call me a hater, tell me I don't get it, say what you gotta say. But like, come on. That makes no goddamn sense. Come on. Let's be real.
And people could say it's a joke, but there are TikTok accounts out there that are literally dedicated to this. And while they might be making satire and they might be joking about it, guess what? There are people that are watching that are impressionable that are now running around saying they want to be a cat.
One thing also is like, we didn't like grow up in that era. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's an excuse for people not knowing what pronouns are or whatever, but not everyone is going to know what a pronoun is or how to use it. Like 99.9% of people that I've known or interacted with, like they know it, but they're not going to know right off gate to know what want to call someone what their pronoun is. All I know is that it's taken us a long time to get to where we're at in the LGBTQ plus community. And for me, like, this is just another layer on top of it. It complicates things a little bit, and I'm willing to learn. And I think that most people are willing to learn, but I also think that when it gets way too complicated and you're like doing way too much, I can see why people would get frustrated with that. I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying that I understand why there's frustration with pronouns. I totally do.
Here's why I think there's a lot of frustration with pronouns, because people do not give grace when it comes to pronouns.
They don't.
If you do not know someone's pronoun online, let's take, for example, when Demi Lovato came out and said that they were going to refer to themselves as they, them, but now she goes by she, her as well, everyone. I got that wrong on Twitter, and the stans lost their mind.
Get off the cross, girl.
I thought she dropped the they, them, but oh my gosh, she still has it. So when she originally came out and said that she was only identifying as they, them, a lot of people that were talking about it were slipping up and they were saying she, her. And immediately that was met with death threats.
Automatically.
Trust me, bitch, I got a death threat over Demi Lovato yesterday on Twitter. They were telling me to off myself, and I'm like, girl, I'm not going to. I can give another example of somebody that got really nasty in the comment section. Remember when Trisha Paytas came out and said that she was going to go by they, them, and people were still calling her she, her? It got downright nasty.
And you know what? I was
at
the forefront of that, calling that out. I knew, and I love Trisha to death. I know Trisha like somewhat on a personal level, but I knew that Trisha was doing that to gain attention. I knew that Trisha was doing that to like take heat off of herself.
A lot of people were actually bringing up about Demi Lovato. They were like, didn't she come out and say that those were going to be her pronouns like a week or so after that whole entire yogurt chop thing happened?
Oh my God.
Do you remember when Demi Lovato like bitched out that yogurt chop because of the layout of it?
They should have sued the out of her. Just being completely 100% honest, they should have sued the out of her.
Like, imagine being like so up your own ass that you think the world caters to you about your dietary choices.
That's crazy. That's super pretentious behavior, and I do not jive with that at all.
So the other day when I logged into Instagram, for some reason it just randomly prompted me. Like, sometimes I'll get like, update your cell phone number, update your email address, is this still you? But it was telling me to update my pronouns if I wanted into my profile. So I clicked on it and I was like, okay, what are these? I wanted to be that person that typed in like that bitch to see if it would give it to me. Of course it didn't, but when I typed in T, it of course gave they, them, theirs. But then after that, because these are things that I do not understand, like I would have never thought. Thon and thons. T-H-O-N. I don't know what that would stand for.
Listen, I know that there are people out there that identify as that because that's why it's there. But they also have to understand that not like the vast majority of people, they have no problem. She, he, they, them, they have no problem with that. But when you get into like complicating it that much, there's gonna be resistance. I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm not saying that that makes it right. It's a learning experience. There's a learning curve with that. Nobody literally grew up talking like that.
So I went on to type in other letters just to see what would come up. And I wanna say, before anyone in the comment section is like, that's probably just like a different language, so you're not pronouncing it right, all of that. They literally give you on the screen, I'll put the screenshot over here, you can do English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, like you can go by any language that you want to. So I typed in C and I got co and co's, so C-O. And then I typed in P and I got per, P-E-R, and then P-E-R-S, so is that just short for person? Then I typed in E and I got literally just the letter E. I also got E-Y, I got E-M, and I got E-I-R. So what do these like stand for? Like, and it goes on and on. There was mer, M-E-R. Is that mermaid? And then I typed in V. I could just go on and on with the letters, but I got V-E, V-E-R, V-I-S, V-I, and V-I-R. How are people supposed to know what these are? I'm very confused. And how is everyone supposed to remember all of these different specific pronouns for different people? Like, I feel like it's getting way too complicated out here, and that's why so many people are apprehensive and so many people have an issue with it.
Yeah, no, they'll burn you at the stake.
Yes.
1,000,000%. They will burn you at the stake and then hang you out to dry.
I am totally fine with respecting the pronouns that people want. Yeah. But the moment that you turn around and start bitching at me because I get it wrong, like, I'm totally fine if someone comes up to me and they say like, this is my pronoun and that's what they want to be referred to as. Never have had an issue doing it. Talk about Nikita all the time, all that kind of stuff. It's never been a issue. But now here we are with these neo pronouns, and I'm just saying I'm not doing the neo pronouns thing. If I have to talk about someone and they have a certain like pronoun that I know that in conversation, because it's so confusing to me that I already know that I'm gonna up on it, and I know that people are going to crucify me down below, so I am going to find a way to discuss that person or have a conversation with that person without using that, or without using terminology like saying he or like saying she that would upset them. And that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm not gonna sit here with the zos and the zers and the z's and the zoos. It's not for me.
What's confusing about it to me is like, do you say that and then their name, or like do you just say the pronoun?
Just gonna, you know what, I'm just gonna use people's names.
There's some people that'll look at you weird if you say their name and you don't know.
Yeah. So with all that said, everyone, please let us us know what your thoughts and opinions are down below about this. I feel like it's going to be a very half and half type of conversation. But as we said, please be respectful down in the comment section. We don't want anyone's feelings to be hurt down there. And honestly, sometimes it gets vicious.
It does.
Sometimes it does. But I feel like it's a very divided conversation, especially with Jeffree in this, because over on TikTok, I have seen so many people that are in support of this, and they're like, thank you so much for speaking up. Oh my God, voice of reason, blah, blah, blah. But then I also see an equal amount of people that are like really pissed off about this, and they feel like he is basically, they feel like he told people that are non-binary, they don't exist, and they're nothing. So please let us know your thoughts and opinions down below on everything from this video, but I feel like it's gonna be more so about what Jeffree said. And just your thoughts on like the neo-pronouns and all of that, but please keep it respectful.
Yeah.
Like that is all that we can ask, because we know that it can get
really messy really quickly.
And with all that said, everyone, that is it for this video. We hope that you did enjoy it. Please leave us
a flower emoji.
A flower emoji.
I love that dandelion song
any
that's
flower
around on TikTok now.
Any flower.
Yeah, any flower.
Any flower. And we'll see you guys all in our next video.
Bye.